With the 8th anniversary of Dokkan Battle actually starting within a day from the time of this recording. Actually, by the time this video goes out, it'll be tonight when the 8th anniversary officially begins. So I've been getting a lot of questions how to get JP Dokkan and things like that, and I'm going to be showing you some step-by-step processes on how to do it for both Android and iOS. And in the second half of the video, there will be like a Q&A section. I asked both Twitter and YouTube, some questions as you're starting JP. And I think that there's a lot of useful questions there that you may have yourself. So feel free to watch till the end of the video to make sure, there's any questions you may have answered in the video. Or if you do have any questions that are not listed, you could feel free to leave them in the comments below. And either myself or anyone from the community will go ahead and follow up there. But beyond that, here's how to get Dokkan Battle JP for Android. Now, it is actually very easy to get it on the Android version. The reason why is because recently Dokkan had actually put JP Dokkan in international, stores. So it used to be just region locked to the JP store, and we had to use another site, QnA, right, is what many people may be familiar with in the past in order to get Dokkan Battle on JP. Now, all you need to do is you can literally go here and then you can look up Dokkan Battle, like literally like that, and then Dokkan Battle actually does pop up right there very easily. Alternatively, what you can do is you can get this link, this exact link here, and if you click on that link, you'll be taken on your phone to the actual app store, and you'll see the JP version of Dokkan Battle here. I will put that link in the description below and in a comments, so feel free to take a look there. And that's how you are able to get JP Dokkan on Android. Very easy, just install it in the App Store and you're good to go. Literally will take a few seconds, and very, very helpful, right, that they went ahead and did that for us. Now, iOS is a little more difficult, I'd say, because with that you need to make a JP Apple account. Unfortunately, I don't have a iOS account, so I can't show my screen and show exactly step by step, but this site right here actually does have all the exact information on how to create an Apple JP account, right? Essentially, you do need to have a new Apple ID for Japan, right, in the Japan region. So again, your email address must be different from your main Apple ID or your main email address, right? So you want to definitely create just a separate email address that's in Japan specifically, right? There's a comment right here. Make sure that the email you make your new Apple ID account with has a country selected as Japan. That is very important for a step that we're going to talk about in the future here. But essentially, you want to make sure you fill out the form with your email address, submit it, check that email address for the verification code, and then you're done with that for sure, right? You may also need to use a VPN. Keep that in mind in order to show up in Japan, right? That may not, it depends on your situation. Now right here, you open iTunes. I guess this is an alternative way. You can open iTunes, sign out of your current account, go to the store and scroll all the way down to the bottom until you see a flag of a country. Click on it and then select Japan. Now you search for a free app and then click the app and get it, right? It could be any app. It could even be Dokkan Battle itself. Again, you must search and try to download a free app to have a none option for payment when creating an account. That's very important because obviously if there's no payment being made, you have to have none. And that's why you need to have your email address in Japanese, right? Or Japan email address, because if you don't have it like that, then you won't actually get the none option and you won't be able to, of course, install the game because you have to put a Japanese payment method, right? Create Apple ID, click continue, briefly read and accept iTunes Store terms and conditions in the Apple privacy policy, enter a clean email address, password, and other details. You could use your existing email address by adding +1 at the end, but again, I believe for many people the issue came up where you needed to have a Japan email address because the none option wouldn't show up. Then right here, you'll have to copy paste this from the link. I'll leave this link in the description below for the actual postal code, type, address. That's very important because you actually need to have, a Japan address, right? I keep trying to say Japanese and Japan, but you guys get the point, right? Here's a phone number that you could use there. Just copy paste. Feel free to go ahead and do that. Leave the gift card area blank, and if it's not pre-selected, make sure you again choose the payment option as none. Note the information somewhere so you won't forget, then click Apple ID. The first one does seem very more, I guess, easy to go ahead and do. So you probably want to do the first way. If it doesn't work, feel free to try the additional way. But that's how you do make a Japanese Apple account. And then once that account is created, you just have to download JP Dokkan, right? You just have to search up. Again, you can literally copy paste this from this link and then just search it up. And you'll be able to find it, or you can go to Bandai Namco, right? Either way, just look up the app, install it, and then you'll be good to go. And I believe since it is technically now international, I heard people don't have to switch back and forth between the accounts in order to update that anymore. Can't quote me on that. Again, I'm not an iOS user, but that's that. Anyways, that's how you get Dokkan Battle for both of the versions. And yeah, it's pretty much it. Again, people keep saying that right there. Again, you probably will have to use a VPN in order to create an actual email address in Japan, right? But from there, that's how you do it. So pretty simple steps overall. And from here, I'll actually go ahead into the Q&A section. So we'll be looking at the questions that people asked me both on YouTube and Twitter. So let's hop right into it. Okay, so here are some of the questions I get asked. Anyone who's new to the JP version of Dokkan or the 8th anniversary, stuff like that, feel free to give me your questions. And here we are. So again, there's one quote tweet here. Let's just take a look there real quick. How to buy and quickly farm the stones. That's not, unfortunately, that's not something that's like, I know there are people who still make botted accounts. I'm not sure how they do it. I'm not sure where to do it, unfortunately. I would just recommend installing the game. The anniversary is going to give tons of stones anyways. And it's like, well, if you bought an account and complete anything, they're gonna kind of sour the fun out of actually making an account playing, right? How do you start a JP account? The orbs losing the Dokkan events, it'll be annoying. Again, my recommendation is when you start your JP account, right, and you have it installed and everything, you definitely want to just start from story mode. You're gonna have to go slow, right, and get as many stones as you possibly can, and throw all your stones at the new anniversary banners, right? Obviously, those banners look like they're gonna have a lot of value, and you just have to slowly work yourself up. Definitely get version Z Goku. He's extremely helpful for newer players. Get those beginner missions done, and then slowly working on Dokkan awakening your characters by time. And again, if you complete story mode, you'll be getting a lot of XP from story mode. Again, you do get 4 times EXP right now from doing story mode, and it's actually going to help you rank up a lot, increase your team cost, right? That's going to be very important. Additionally, you'll be getting some green gems. There are some extra stuff in the green gem shop. Very, very good to see, right? So that's definitely where you want to 100% get your, just starting off again. The orbs, that's not really something you can take care of, but during the anniversary, they have orb events up a lot. I believe on the weekends, usually anniversaries do have all 5 orb events up at the same time. So just make sure you do those orb events daily, and login bonuses, missions, and usually give a lot of orbs as well. But sometimes you can't really get around like losing to Dokkan events early on. But as long as you farm your characters ahead of time, you'll probably be getting tons of Kais. There's so many farmable units now. It shouldn't be too terrible if you know how to play, global Dokkan already. 13k stones for part 1. You have already. I should dedicate how much? I would say, honestly, just throw all your stones at the banner as much as you can until you actually just finalize the unit. Because these banners are there's S tier. There's really, really good units, right? If you're actually playing Dokkan, right? You have S tier Cooler, the Gamma 1 and 2 units. The new LRs are likely going to be the best units in the game, I would say. So I guess we have to wait and see how good these units are. But I would say it's definitely worth to just throw as many stones as you can. As a website that has translated missions sorted by events, like the way it is in game, the hardest part for me is trying to figure out what a mission means. You can use Google Translator, but you find it rather slow and tedious. There is actually, and I have it pinned right here. So this is the Dokkan info site. Again, a lot of people have trouble saying, oh, I can't play the JP version because I can't actually understand Japanese. And again, that's an extremely fair thing. However, there is this site. There's also technically this Dokkan wiki as well. I'll leave both links in the comments below. Usually, I would say this site has the missions, right? I don't see where there's missions labeled here, unfortunately. But if you take a look here, there's 2 ways you can do it. One, there's an event tab. So let's say, you want to get a certain mission for a story event. Let's say there's, this, actually the story event's not available. Oh, I'm trying to find just a story event. I'm kind of fumbling right here. let's say there is, the trio event for the, Goten, Trunks, and then the Marin, right? Just as a general example, whenever it loads, what happens is you'll be able to see the missions associated with this event, right? So you see, bam, all the missions here associated with this event are all listed. The owner of the site, Hair Attorney, usually does go in and translate them and, manually translates them. Doesn't really like just use specifically, Google Translate. So that is very helpful. And then again, you click on any story event that's available. Like look, this one right here. You can click on it. You see all the missions there that are available. So if there's a specific story event mission that you want to do, your best bet is to just go here. Now, obviously, you may have to take it like a minute or two to find the specific event, but it's much better than probably going on this tab. Now, this tab is obviously the general missions tab. It'll show you all the tabs for like all the actual events that are currently up. And, if you take a look at, you can see all the story events up right here. So if you want specifically, hey, I want the story events that are currently live, you should be able to find them, but you may have to do some scrolling. Like again, it shows all the story events that are live right now, like the Saiyan Saga Dragon Ball story one, even the Bardock one right here. We have the Dragon Ball GT story events, right? This is the best place to find it. So I'll leave a link to the Dokkan info site in the comments below again and the description. So feel free to take a look there. I'll also leave a site to this Dokkan wiki. This one is, I think it has a better format for how the characters are translated, though it's actually translated on this one specifically here. There's also a global version of it, right, for the global cards. So I guess if you're a global player, right, you could always do that. But that's pretty much it there for how you would actually look at the missions. Again, extremely helpful site. I use it so much, and it is a great way to navigate JP Dokkan in terms of, not having to go back and forth with the Google Translate, especially if you have a computer or just, have another tab open, right? But that's pretty much it. To start a JP on Monday, having a hard time getting your team together. Is there a way to make easier Dokkan Awakening units when your team isn't Dokkan Awakened? Is there some way of putting together a competent team and synergy so you can make progress? Your best bet is to maybe not focus necessarily on Dokkan Awakening Dokkan event characters unless they're very old Dokkan event characters. What you can likely do is you can just, again, go to story events. There are actually like there are story event characters that are pretty good. Again, I can't really see which story events are alive right now, unfortunately. I think actually this Dokkan site right here, it might actually list the events that are currently up here. Does it list here? Yeah, so it shows all. No, actually it does not list all the events. That's great. But essentially you could just farm the events that are currently live, and there's free to play units that you can Dokkan Awaken to TUR, then easy eventually. If you can't beat Dokkan events, you should still be able to beat story events again and get version Z Goku done. Very important. Even like if you're using a friend lead, you could use any friend lead that's available, people that have cleared the events. I'm sure there's a ton of like really strong friend leads on the friends list, right? Well, it may be a little bit of an issue right now because a lot of people are farming bots, unfortunately, it seems, and there's SSRs on the friends list, right? But I'm sure there's probably a lot. Okay, I can't really bring up all the exact events that are up here, unfortunately. I think I went to 4 last time, right? And then we saw in 4 last time there were some events, but we have a bunch of Dragon Ball stories that are up all the time. So like you could always farm this Gohan right here, both of these Gohans. You could always farm this Tech Cooler. Again, these Dragon Ball stories are always up. The Goten and Trunks are here, recently got Dokkan Awakenings, right? They're not bad at all, and you will be able to use them to clear some of this content. Definitely, right? This Goku and Riddle recently got, easy A's specifically. The Ginyu Force and the Bardock units, yeah, actually, this is smarter. Just farm these units. These units will be able to tear across the actual game. I feel like the Ginyu Force units might be a little better overall than the Team Bardock units, and simply because you have the Ginyu. I think the Tech Color Ginyu is just better for that team. You have AGL Ginyu that you could run as a friend lead. I feel like he is definitely more likely to be found on the friends list than Tech Bardock, another Dokkan Festival unit. You'll be able to see AGL Ginyu and use this guy as a leader once you unlock 100% of the hidden potential. You'll be able to clear any Dokkan event, and then you'll be able to awaken your actual powerful summonable units, and you'll be able to go through from there. guidance on making Zenny and resources for leveling up units, super attacks, etc. So in terms of getting Zenny, that will be difficult as a newer player. In that situation, again, if you play through story mode, you'll be able to actually rack up a ton of Zenny once you're in the later stages, right? And then you just do story mode over and over. Especially, you'll be able to get not only a lot of XP from ranking up, but just in general from you'll be able to get a lot of Zenny, I'd say, from the actual clearing the story event itself. Now, once you do that, if you do a lot of story events, then you'll get a lot of friend points. And with friend points, you can just summon on the friend point banner, get extra Zenny statues from there. Again, if you clear the missions that are currently there as well, that could be helpful. There's also the punching bag event, I guess technically you can give a try at that. There's some Zenny missions, right? Just at the top of my head. In terms of specifically making a guide for Zenny and resources, I would say once you do get Zenny, you'll be able to go to the new Baba Shop tab on the JP version, and then through that tab in the middle of the Baba Shop, you'll be able to exchange Zenny for, again, Z swords. You can exchange Zenny for training items, training locations, stuff like that, awakening medals, right, for the Gregories and stuff like that. And you'll be looking very good there. So that's kind of the paths you want to take in order to get a lot of Zenny and resources. The resources specifically, you want to get Zenny first to trade that Zenny in the Baba Shop to then get the resources. It's kind of like a back and forth thing, because with the Zenny in the Baba Shop, you could trade things for medals. And then even if you need Baba points, you could trade those medals back for Baba points and buy stuff in the actual Baba point section, right? So very good to see. Additionally, if you build up the green and blue gems from story mode in the Baba Shop exchange section, where you'll be able to trade those gems, you can trade them for a lot of Zenny statues too. Again, there's tons of ways that they made it easy for casual new players to get a lot of Zenny and start off. So very helpful. But again, if you have any other questions, maybe I'll make a video on it. Let me know if you guys want a separate guide on how to best get Zenny in Dokkan. But that's pretty much it from there. Where could you find English translations? I can't speak. English translations for missions during the 8th anniversary and other future campaigns. Again, I talked about this, but right here, the Dokkan info site, all the missions are available. You can even see all upcoming missions that are yet to be out, right? I use this for when I'm doing my data download videos specifically. But again, all these missions are upcoming. Right here, we see the new Shadow Dragon event. We see this is for a new story event coming out. Again, they're all translated by her attorney. If not, you can use Google Translate as well, and that's the best way to find these English translations. You're not planning on switching to JP or anything. We're interested to hear how people navigate the app in Japanese. Did you look at references in the English version to help you, or did you look to try on error? I feel it is useful. Even if you're planning on playing JP, you can just create a global account, get used to the UI, then switch over to JP. Additionally, if you just do try on error, that could also work. And it's not really too difficult to kind of figure out where everything is placed. I think Dokkan does actually really good a job at making things obvious. Maybe not too obvious, but that's pretty cool. Grass is trending because it's his birthday. That's pretty funny. Again, there's people who are here, translate the missions or the categories, or a global player before. Again, a lot of people who do play JP start on global to get a basic knowledge of the game. So I would recommend you can install global, and then you could have a reference point, and where if you really don't understand anything and you can't find anything online, or anything like that, you can just have the global version on the side, open that up, and you'll be able to figure out, oh, this is what exactly this is. Now, there's one or two things not the same as a global version. In that case, if you do respond to this tweet, I should be able to find it, or even leave a comment on this video. I will be checking back at the comments very frequently here, just to make sure I'm able to answer as many questions as I can. When do the banners drop? We don't know when the new 8th anniversary banners will drop. Well, if you look at this calendar here, I would assume it could be tomorrow night, or it could be on the 30th, right? 29th, 30th. Within the time frame, within the next 2 days, we will know for sure. Do JP players get women? Yes, we do. I get plenty. I've been in JP for 2 years now, but how read? You can't really read it per se, but you can get used to it and understand where certain things go. Again, like I just said, have the global version as a reference. We do have this tab for missions and any other information, even like for support memories. Like there's the cards translations. You can look at the banners, events with the missions, not even just story events, but like Extreme Z battles. You know, all the equipment, there's potential items, stuff like that. How do you get any images when you play JP? Play JP, that's how you do it. How to play JP Dokkan on iOS. Again, at the beginning of the video, I did talk about it. This is basically also the kind of paraphrase version. I answer this essentially, but if you see some like odd terms like super fierce battle, I know a lot of people are confused there. That just means the Dokkan events, but if you're confused on any terms, just respond to this video and I'll be happy to help, or one of my tweets. Play JP Dokkan on Android, but doesn't let you buy stones at all. It says not available in your country. Any solution? So, okay, in that situation, it might just be an issue with your payment method specifically. Maybe you would have to try and make a new Google account in a different country. If you just play on the JP Google account, right? If you just create one, then that could be interesting. Or it could work through there, but really, maybe it's just banned in your country, right? You know, maybe Belgium or something, right? I can't really say for sure, unfortunately, and without more specifics. But yeah, that's what I would try, or maybe try to use a different payment method. Additionally, maybe if you put like a underage, because there's an option when you are gonna buy stones, right? Which I don't think a lot of people will really, but when you're gonna buy stones for the first time, you put in your date of birth, right? And you just need to make sure that's of age date of birth. I was gonna say that could be the case, but it would just not let you try to buy stones in general. I think this is an issue with Google over anything. Maybe you could try QnA if actually, you know, the Google link that I left doesn't work. Is this a good unit? 0% yes. The actual friend system, some of the friends units look weird, but this is a good unit. So, is it advisable to save until worldwide and after anniversary in JP? I would say yeah. If you're a free-to-play player, you want to save for anniversary worldwide if you want to fully utilize your stones. Best way to get dragon stones is starting out story mode for sure. I mean, this replies there. Best farming bot. I mean, I guess this is a farming bot. I again wouldn't recommend using farming bots. It's best just play the game, honestly. So we have some questions on the YouTube side of things. Where can you play JP Dokkan? Well, perfect for you. I do have a link in the comments and description, so feel free to do that. I couldn't think of the word description apparently. Okay. For global, should you save up till the 8th anniversary? Yep, that's a good idea. Switch to JP during the 3-year anniversary after playing pre-first on global. Your main advice you'd like to throw out there is to keep a stock of stones for the Dokkan events. While it might not seem like a bad choice, getting 1 or 2 powerful Dokkan events awakened will make your gaining game a lot easier. Definitely be worth your stone use. I mean, yeah, if you really want using like 1 or 2 stones on a Dokkan event at this point, it's not too big of a deal, I'd say. But also, the Guinea Forest exists, and the Guinea Forest is able to easily clear any Dokkan event there. Farm the Guinea Forest or the Team Bardic units, even if you can't easy A them, that's okay. Again, there's a separate Extreme Z area for that. It shouldn't be that difficult to do that for some of the units, but if you absolutely cannot do that, even the normal Guinea Forest units by themselves should be fine enough to do it. And especially because you'll have 4 items and everything like that, you should be perfectly fine. Why did the Shaft Beast go on an Orange Piccolo? I couldn't tell you. I started JP back in November. You're wondering what was the best stage for blue or green Incredible Gems. Blue is 23, green is 23.8. 23.8, I would say not for green gems. You would definitely want to do the newer story modes. Again, there's multiple different options. Like what I do is I farm 34 on JP. 34 is like one of the newest stages. 30 is the newest area, and that's the final area so far. And area 30, stage 4 of area 30 specifically. And with that, I do actually get a lot of green gems. That's where I do my linked leveling. That's where you can get a lot of XP really quickly. And then that way you'll be able to not only increase your stamina, but you'll be able to increase your team costs. So definitely I would say 34 is the best way to go. For blue gems, again, 28.3 or 28.2. I'm pretty sure it's 28-2 is another link level stage, or 23, one of those two. Again, I forgot at the top of my mind. For blue gems, that's actually a pretty good stage. And there are Supreme Kai missions for getting blue gems, so you want to make sure you do those. Again, you should be able to find the Supreme Kai missions in here, like right here in this tab specifically. Bam. You'll see if you scroll all the way down, you do have to scroll down a bit. You can see there are a lot of stages where there are blue gems that you can get from missions, right? Are they under here? They're somewhere here. I can't find it at the top of my head. I guess I can't find these missions for some reason. Okay, wait. Are they right here? Yeah, there it is. So again, you can get green gems here. I swear there's blue gems missions. Yeah, there's the blue gems missions. You don't get as much, but definitely could get those done. And then you can get some of these specific little Supreme Kai. I guess, like, what are they called? I forgot the exact word that they're called, but they're Supreme Kai Godstones or something. And you could exchange for like Kais. You can get LRS Terra Vegeta Blue very easily, right? Which is probably a good thing to do as well. Something you struggled earlier with JP was having the importance of daily events as well as the grind for free-to-play units. Was the order you would tackle free-to-play content, grind battle, story events, BPAN, things like that. So you definitely want to do story events first. I think that's very important. And, you know, story events and the Ginyu Force units or the Bardock units, that's for sure. Just get a nice, strong team and to have some more units. Then from there, you could probably just tackle Dokkan events, honestly. But you want to make sure you do your daily stages. So there's the daily Roshi event that's in the growth tab. Actually, I could probably even bring this up here. Events, there's this, not limited. There's this growth tab, which should be one of the tabs like in the middle. And this is where you could get very important events here. You'll see, or is this event? It's a Master Roshi event. It's probably up here. Okay, let me try to find it here, but it's this one right here, I think. Right, this is a Master Roshi Turtle School training event. That's actually the old version of it, but it's basically the same thing here. Actually, can't find it for the life of me. Where are you? Hello? Okay, there it is. It's this one right here. You want to do this event daily. This event actually does give you, first off, these missions. Eventually, over time, you can complete them, get a ton of stone. Additionally, you can get a lot of Zenny statues from here and training items every single day. You want to do this event every single day. Very, 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 very important as a new player. I can't stress how important that new event is as a new player. Again, there's also the orb events. This will be up every day, and I think during the anniversary, this event will be up. If it lets me click on it. Yeah, this event specifically will be up during the... Usually it's up during the weekends of the anniversary. I guess I can't say it's confirmed yet. But you want to do this as well to get potential orbs. Potential orbs are very important for, you know, awakening more power in your characters, right? But that's pretty much it from there in terms of doing these daily events. I mean, if you really want to, you could farm like this event. This event actually was renewed recently. Because that's not even it. Where's this? There's a new Zenny event recently that was actually renewed, funny enough. And with that Zenny event, you are able to get a ton of, obviously, just Zenny from there. It's a good amount of Zenny. It's not anything like special. They didn't even have it up here with the image, but this is where you can get a good amount of Zenny in case, you know, you're not sure where else to farm Zenny as well. I was talking about that earlier. Where do you get the 7 ticket summon? Or yeah, when do you get to do it? So there's going to be 3 parts of the anniversary. On the 3rd part of the anniversary, we will get the final amount of tickets available for the actual 8th anniversary. Actually, you could also go here and you can see the events and the missions that you want to go ahead and complete. I'll be doing separate videos for these missions. Right now you can get 21 when the anniversary starts. In those videos, I'll be showing you exactly what to do in order to get those like missions in game with in-game footage, so keep in mind for that. Can I set up the bot to use story mode for me? You can do an auto clicker, I guess that could potentially work for story mode. I know the Masningen has an auto clicker kind of guide to do that if you're on Android, so that could work. You're wondering whether you summon on the New Year step ups or save for anniversary. I would say the New Year step up is definitely worth it for new players, but also the new banners. So it's up to your choice if you really just want to get the new units above all. But the New Year step up will be very helpful for newer players. I think it's definitely worth it to do the New Year step up. From the trailer, which Goku had the better Spirit Bomb? I like the Buu Saga one better. You're new to JP, and the question is how did Dokkan manage to fumble the 2 biggest and hyper celebrations of Dokkan back to back? The 8th anniversary looks pretty good to me. And again, the units for the superhero, specifically Gohan, I feel like was fumbled, but the actual celebration itself was very, very good. So that's one thing to consider. I think the actual celebrations were very good. Best stages for link leveling, incredible gem farming, blue gem farming. I think that, again, incredible gem and link leveling farming are both 34, so you grind all the way to the end of story mode. Blue gem farming 28-2, I believe is a link level stage, or 28-3, one of those two. And so there's a fight where there's like 3 Red Ribbon Army soldiers, and you do get a bunch of blue gems from there. I would recommend one of those 2 stages, and they're really quick to go ahead and finish. Which banner would help you build a more complete team, Boo Saga GT? I think in terms of building a complete team, technically we don't have the banners yet. I feel the Boo Saga banner will actually have better units overall, and it could possibly help you build a better fit team, but we don't know for sure. I would say that's something that we can't answer until the actual banners are out and we know the full, units. We only know like half of the banner essentially. Which story mode stages have the most valuable free-to-play units? Basically, which stages should you use keys on when starting an account? Honestly, the most valuable free-to-play units right now, like at the top of my head, just the Guinea Force and Bardock units. So save your keys for sure. Just save up your keys for if you need to do actual missions in the future. I mean, again, if I take a quick look here at the story events that you could potentially do, I actually have to probably scroll through this if you give me a minute just to make sure I could see any worthwhile story event missions or units you could do. What you can also do, again, the Dragon Ball stories are a thing, and with that you could farm a lot of these, like for example this Goten, Gohan, and Goku, I can't even think of it apparently. Wow, the Broly. I'm so off sometimes. This is 30 minutes, man. I'm sorry, but this Broly story event will have some pretty useful options. Farm all the units from there. There's probably going to be new units that you could farm in the new story events. I hope they're good. We don't know for sure yet. But yeah, looking at it, a lot of these units I wouldn't say like, oh, these are must farms. These at the top of my head, just looking at all of them right here. Not really. No, unfortunately. I mean, this Gohan could be useful. The Super Strikes, these are actually going to be some pretty good units to farm though. Like the Frieza and King Cold, they're actually useful. This Android 16 could help you in some situations, right? This Grandpa Gohan could be somewhat useful, and you get a lot of stones for finishing these units, and they could be like an helpful extra option to your teams in order to get that done. But it depends on like what teams you get from summoning. Then based on those teams, you could go farm some of these other specific units as well. But free-to-play units right now aren't really in the greatest spot. I'd say LR Vegeta Blue from story mode could be really good. This, like the story mode LRs probably would be your best bets too. What other differences are there besides language barriers and earlier releases? So I know one difference there is that JP actually has 2 reset times. There is one reset time at, it would be 7 a.m. Pacific time or 10 a.m. Eastern time. Again, that depends on your time zone. Then that's like what's considered just the normal event reset. And that's pretty much just a general reset, I'd say. That's where daily events reset. That's where, the actual like different Dokkan events switch over between the different typings and things like that. That's also when celebration info drops for news. Now, a few hours before that, literally exactly 7 hours before then, that is when events usually drop. It's at a completely different time. And in that situation, it's kind of similar to the global version where there's also separate times for the drops. But beyond that, that's pretty much it. It's really just language barriers, early releases. JP doesn't have the Pilaf Trove, but JP obviously just gets extra things early. So you'll be able to kind of more tell once you're actually in the game looking at it. There may be slight differences. I don't really, unfortunately, play global that much, but most of the time the game is the same. And if you play global, you're going to be extremely familiar with how JP works, especially because now the versions are pretty close together in terms of like actual major updates, right? Both versions had the final version Z update and everything, so that's that thing. HOL are going and so are real. They are real for sure. Just here to say hi. Hello. You're not new, but you switched before the 5th anniversary, never regretted. That's fair enough. Again, the thing about switching to JP, A lot of people say, oh, I'm so invested in global, I can't switch to JP. You can always have JP as your side account. Additionally, people have been saying this since like, the third anniversary, second anniversary, and look how many years have passed by since then. Dokkan has plans to do, the game all the way until at least the 10th anniversary. That's a whole 2 years from now, 2025. And I'm sure Dokkan's not just gonna stop at the 10th anniversary unless something bizarre happens, right? I wouldn't anticipate it. So if you want to invest more time into a JP account, I think this is actually a really prime time to do that. Nothing's ever promised, of course, but I think that's a good thing to kind of think about there. The free-to-play player characters worth for Battlefield? No. Besides the Ginyu Force units, I think you can concentrate on them because they're very worth it, but we have like the Krillin 18, the Majin Vegeta Super Saiyan 2 Goku. They're not worth it. The LRs could be worth it. Tech Oob got his EZA recently. He's actually pretty solid units. Again, the Ginyu Force units have their EZAs with Battlefield. I would probably focus on the Ginyu Force units. Again, I'm really strong as a new player. That Ginyu Force team could be very devastating in early content like Dokkan events, stuff like that. Even like for some more difficult content, once you have a fully built up team, like I wouldn't be surprised if a free-to-play Ginyu Force team could take down like the God of Destruction event from the 6th anniversary or something, right? Given you have a friend AGL Ginyu, which the AGL Ginyu is still pretty crazy. Good for your noobs, the game is good. What time does Dokkan reset? Again, yeah, it depends. The actual reset time is at the time I said, which is 7 a.m. Pacific time, 10 a.m. Eastern. Events drop at 3 a.m. Eastern time, 12 a.m. Or midnight Pacific time, right? And it really does depend on your time zone from there, but that's pretty much it. I don't think I have, okay, there's literally just a comment right here. Let's end off with this one. What about that? Would you recommend players to re-roll? When you're a JP player, you got immensely shafted on 3 counts. On your 3rd account, you're able to pull enough units to make reps U17. I think that re-rolling is fine. Like if you just create an account and you're not like, just mass farming bot accounts, I think that's when things could get an issue. But if you're just re-rolling and you're resetting and you're just at level 1 account, that's okay. There's not an issue because it won't really show up on people's friends list if you don't clear events, and it'll allow you to really get the units you want and build a solid team. So not a bad idea at all. Or you could just stick with the same account, just kind of farm through all story mode. It's up to you, but I'd say I do think it's a sound strategy if you want to do that. But that's pretty much it. Again, if you guys have any questions that I did not cover here, let me know in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer them, or someone else will be able to. I didn't plug this actually. I should have plugged it earlier. I do also have a Discord where if you join the Discord, again, there's pretty good people there and they'll be able to help you through, if not me personally in there, whenever I go through there. So feel free to keep a lookout, but thank y'all for watching and I hope your JP Dokkan journeys are pretty good. I'll catch you in the next video.